Hello everyone. Let's solve the problem up the strip, simplified version. This one, right? So you can completely read the question. This version of the problem differs from next one, next only in the constant on. You can completely read the problem. They have mentioned input and output as well, along with the example. For what input we have to get the desired output. So they have given some examples along with the input and output, right? So I'll just try to simplify or summarize the problem so that we will understand it in a good way, in a easy way, right? So what the question says, we have the vertical strip with n cells. We have the, I'll just call vertical strip BS. We have vertical strip with n cells numbered from 1 to n. So numbered from 1 to n. We have the vertical strip of n cells numbered from 1 to n. That's what they have given from top to bottom. So you have to keep in mind, we have vertical cells numbered from 1 to n from top to bottom. The token starts in cell n. The token starts in cell n and must be moved to the cell 1. This has to be moved to the cell 1. The token, again I'm telling, the token starts from cell n and we have to, and it has to be moved to 1. Cell 1, right? So we can either move the token by subtracting an integer y or by using the float division. Float division we are knowing. So moving from cell x to x by z, where 2 less than, 2 less than or equal to z, less than or equal to x. So our main task is to count the number of distinct ways to move the token from cell n to cell 1. That is modulo m. So our main task is to find the number of distinct ways to move n from to move from n to 1. We need to calculate number of distinct ways to move the token from cell n to cell 1. Sorry, modulo m. That's what they have mentioned in the question. Let me delete this one. So what will be the approach that we are going with? So first step, as usual, will be going with the input handling. Just give me a second. First step will be going with the input handling as usual. So we'll be making use of the JavaScript or the Node.js. So if you have followed the previous problems, you will be knowing input handling is mostly same for all the problems. So first step will be input handling. We'll be reading the data. We'll be processing the inputs. We'll be processing the inputs and we'll be writing the this one, read line as well, to read each line of input. That's what we will be doing in the input handling. So this is the first step. And second step, what we will be doing, we'll be making use of dynamic programming for this particular problem. So why we'll be making use of the dynamic programming? Let's see this one. Second step after this input handling, we'll go with the initialization. Initialization is nothing but we will define an array DP. We'll be, as I've said, we'll be going with the dynamic programming approach for this particular problem. So we will initialize an array DP where iterated value of the DP, this one, let me write it. So where iterated value of the DP represents the number of ways to move from, move the token from cell I to cell 1. That's what we need to calculate, right? So let's initialize the DP of n to 1 initially. Let's initialize DP of n to 1 so that there is exactly one way to stay in the cell n, which is already at cell n. This is the base case, right? So this one will be the base case. So what is the third step? This is the second step. Next step will be DP array update. We have to update it. We have to iterate and update, right? So always after initialization, we will go for the iteration. So here we need to update the DP array by iteration. So what we will do here, the first step is we will subtract contribution. Nothing but the token can be moved from I to I plus y, also for this one, 1 less than or equal to y less than or equal to I. This one, nothing but subtract contribution. This means all the ways to reach I plus y contribution to dp of I. So this is what we'll be doing in the subtraction contribution. And also we can go with the float division contribution as well. Either we can go with the subtraction contribution or the float division contribution. So we'll see that this third step we will see when we write the code. You'll get to know this one clearly rather than if I explain this one currently. So the fourth step, finally, we need to compute the result. So how can we compute the result? The final result is stored in dp of 1. So the final result will be stored in dp of 1. So why we are storing in dp of 1? Since it also includes the contribution from dp of 2, and by subtracting the dp of 2 from dp of 1 and adjust the modulo a. So the final result will get from dp of 1, nothing but the this one output. So this is the approach that we'll be going with. So I'll just delete. Let's start writing the code so that we will understand this one better. So first step, as we know, we'll start with the input handling. So we'll read input and initialize the necessary variables. So I'll just give process dot standard input dot resume. This is the first step, and process dot standard input dot set encoding this one UTF-8. So this is first step. Next step is let input string equals empty string. Also let current line, will initialize this one to 0. Next we'll add the event listener to process the data, right? So I'll just give process dot shared input dot so on. This will be data. Let me give input stdin. So here after this, let's append the input string to input stdin. This one, right? So I'll just copy the same thing and make the necessary changes in the next step. Next here, I'll just give this one and let me remove this one. Also, we don't have to append the input string to input stdin. This one will be string itself, input string. Let's trim all the white spaces. Also, next let's split this one so we read the individual lines in the input. Also, we have to trim all the white spaces in each line, right? So for that, I'll just make use of map. We consider string. Inside this one, this will be string dot trim. So this will be one thing. Finally, we have to read each line of the input, right? After doing this, we have to read each line of input. Before this, so I want to tell that, so here we need to call the main function as well. We have not written the main function yet. We will be writing the main function in the future. So after writing the main function, let's call the main function over here, right? We need to process all the inputs here. We are processing all the inputs over here. So we need to call the main function also here. So we have not written the main function, and inside the main function, we'll be writing the core logic. So that we have not written yet, we'll be writing in the future. So after writing that one, we'll call the main function over here. We have to read all the inputs. So I'll just make use of the read line function. This will be, let's return input string. Within the array, it will be current line. We need to increment, right? So that we read each line of the input. Next, what we will do, let's start writing the main function or the core logic. First one is, let's pass the input values. For this, I'll just make use of the destructuring operator. This will be n, m. Here, this will be read line. Also, split. let's leave the space between the numbers. Also, let's map the number type. You can also take the big int if you are dealing with the large numbers. I'll just consider this one, number type number. So I forgot to write the function number, function main here, right? Sorry. Yeah, this is fine. I'll just leave space over here. So next step, after passing the input values, let's initialize the DP array as we discussed in the approach. I'll just give let DP equals new array n into 2 plus 1. So this is one thing. Let's fill this one with 0. This is one thing. Next, DP of n, we will set this one to 1. So if there is only one way to be in the cell n, which is being there, while approach we discussed this one, right? So what this states mainly, there is one way to be in cell n, which is being there initially, right? So next step is we are computing the number of ways to reach the cell 1 from each cell, nothing but cell n from cell n from cell 1. We have to compute the number of ways to reach cell 1 in simple terms. After initialization, we have to go for the iteration. So I'll start the iteration. Let I equals n minus 1. So this is nothing but the reverse iteration. I greater than 0, and we are decrementing the I. While discussing the problem, initially, as I've said, 1 to n, and we have to reach from n to 1, right? So I hope this will be clear now, how to approach the problem. So I said while writing the code, you'll get to know. So next, this is base case. What we are doing, we are subtracting 1 from I, and also we are multiplying the result by 2. So I'll just consider iterated value of the DP, that is equal to 2 into DP of I plus 1. Also, let me give module m. Next, I'll make use of the for loop again. For let's start from 2 this time. J less than math.floor. So instead of the math.floor, I'll just be making use of the double tilde operator. This is somewhat faster than math.floor, right? So n by I. So, and finally, we'll increment the j, right? So this is what we'll be doing. Next, now the iterated value of the DP will be, this is DP of I, then plus DP of, we are multiplying, right? DP of I into j. This will be same. DP of I plus 1 into j. Next one, right? This is I plus 1 into j. So somewhere I did something wrong. Here, let's consider within this one array. Within this array, I plus 1 we have considered, right? J, finish the array here, plus m, also modulo m. This is fine. Next, what we will do, finally, we will store the result in the, nothing but the result is number of ways to reach the cell 1 minus contribution from the cell 2. So how can we write this one? Instead of telling in the theory, if I write the code, you will get it. So this will be result equals DP of 1. As I have said, it is the number of ways to reach cell 1 minus contribution from cell 2. Nothing but DP of 1 minus DP of 2 plus m. DP of 2 plus m. I'll just make use of the modulo m, right? We have got the result, so we need to display the result as well, right? So in the JavaScript, we'll be making use of the console log. to print or display the result. I'll just give console log of result. So this is it. Then let me come here. Let me call the main function. So I keep forgetting this one many times. So I'll just come here. Let me copy the input. Let me paste it over here. So what happened? Unexpected. So here I didn't close the bracket, sorry. Okay. So now we are getting 8. We need to get 8. So this has to be 5, right? So somewhere I missed something. So let me give this input. So I'm getting 36. So somewhere we have done wrong. Let's check where we have. So what are the mistakes that I have done here is, in the line number 27, this has to be j less than or equal to float division we are doing. Instead of math.floor, I have made use of the double tilde operator here. You can make use of the math.floor as well. That is not a problem. I have made use of the double tilde operator. This is fine now. This has to be not less than, it has to be less than or equal to. So, and also while telling here in the line number 31, this has to be, the result is the number of ways to reach cell 1 minus contributions from the cell 2. I mean difference, right? It has to be the difference. So it has to be minus rather than plus. I said it correctly, but while typing, I typed plus. I don't know why. So that is fine. Let me run now. So now we are getting 25, right? So first one, let's check from beginning. So let me run this one. Now we are getting 5. This is correct. So 25, we have already checked this one. Second one. Third one, let's check. It has to end with 4 to 8. So let me check this one. Yeah, this is ending with 4 to 8. So we are getting the output correctly. Just give me a second. So I'll just come here. Let me click on submit code. This is D1. Let me paste the code over here and hit the submit. Let's wait for some time. So here you can see this works absolutely correct. So this is accepted and this works absolutely correct. The code works absolutely correct. So yeah, I had made these two mistakes basically. It has to be less than or equal to, and here while explaining I said it correctly, but while typing instead of minus I had typed plus. So it has to be the difference actually basically. So it has to be minus. So this is it. Yeah, now the code works absolutely correct. This is it. Thanks for watching guys.